Welcome everyone to the first video from Next Realm Studios. What we're looking at right here is we have a group of complex actors who have a neural network, or several neural networks, competing in a battle royale. I'm assuming most people who are watching this video know exactly what a battle royale is, but the too long didn't read of it is you have a whole bunch of, in this case, teams of 3 competing against each other. Last one standing in a battle royale normally wins, but in this one it's whoever has the most points. The map slowly shrinks down to 0, and anyone who gets caught outside the map as it shrinks, in this case this purple haze that's slowly moving in, gets killed. So what kind of AI do we have here? Because that's the title of this video. So these guys right here, they are our complex actors. And these here are our simple little zombie actors. These guys, they get points as they do damage to either the simple actors or to the other teams. Right now I don't have differential marks between the teams, but you can see they kind of do stay together. So you can see them kind of fight. They have 3 abilities to choose from. They can either do area of attack, that's a little swipe that you just saw right there. That is a large amount of damage but in a very small space. They can cause like a small explosion. Let's see if I can see one doing it. But it's a little circle around them with a whole bunch of streamers that go straight up. Or they can fire a little magic bolt like you just saw there. Most machine learning AI people talk about in video games that you've seen, like from OpenAI or something in those Dota tournaments, every decision they make, like every inch they move, is determined by the neural network. That is very resource intensive. Our goal is to use this technology to make a game server that can run on a Raspberry Pi Model 3 with like 1 gig of RAM, a slow processor with multiple cores. So we are taking advantage of multi-threading and also being very, very memory optimized from the very beginning. What does that mean for the AI? So what we do instead, not all actors will be using the neural networks, but those that do, it isn't, you could say, a true neural network because they don't make every single decision. Instead, there are decision trees. Decision trees are normal AI programming that you'll see in game, basically just really long if this, then that statements. But instead of just programming a whole ton of if trees, the AI will instead decide what tree to take advantage of, what tree will best fit the situation it finds itself in. So you can see right now, oh, there's 2 guys left. Oh, now there's only 1. So map shrinks down. This is after a lot of cycles. So the AI that you just saw is a little bit smarter than when it first starts off. But let's go ahead. I'm not going to cut the camera because we're just at the end here. Because once the map shrinks down to 0, the team that had the highest score is copied. I think 49 times. You have 49 teams of 3. And when they're copied, each AI is modified just a little bit. It's called a mutation, where just one neuron or one weight of a neuron in its neural network is changed ever so slightly. And this allows for more organic, finger quotes, organic behavior, things that are just a little bit harder to predict and a little bit more interesting. So you can see this has been running for a while. Even the team members seem to have changed a little bit differently. You can see these 2 back guys here are mostly casting the ranged, and this guy more towards the front is doing AoE. So this hasn't been going on an incredibly long time. So as you can see, this guy here still doesn't really understand you have to be super close in order to do damage with the AoE. Once this runs for hours, I've run it overnight, they start to get a lot more intelligent in regards to doing that. But you can see for now, they're just going through, doing the best they can. You can kind of see kiting behavior that they've learned to do. And you can see like when 2 teams approach each other, they're a little bit more cautious. They don't just run into each other. These guys do almost no damage. They're mostly just there as cannon fodder and for training purposes, because once these complex actors, or room knights is how we're referencing them, deal damage to these or kill them, they get some points. and the team with the highest points is the one that moves forward and gets copied. So they're mostly just there for training. However, taking out another Rune Knight gets way more points. So this guy just killed the one over here, so he has even more points than he did before. And so you start to see the teams will go right after these smaller guys, but when they approach another complex actor team, they get a little bit more cautious and don't just rush in. And so they'll stand back and they'll try and cast at each other, but they won't just rush straight in. And this allows for a little bit more real feeling behavior, with actually a lot less compute power being required, as you don't have to traverse such a big if tree, because the neural network can decide what if tree is best. So let's go ahead, let's make a modification, and then we'll see how it actually affects these guys over time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording real quick, and we'll see what I can change and how it affects them. And we're back. The change I decided to make is that little rune bolt they could cast, that blue arrow for lack of a better term, that they would throw at people at range. I made that ability pretty much useless. I changed it so it only does 1 damage instead of the 15 it did before. It costs twice as much. It's not the most expensive ability, but it's pretty expensive now for them to cast, and does 1 damage. So I left this running for about half an hour to see what changes would be made, and you can see they're just not using it. They've learned that it's just not useful, because if they cast that and then try and rush into battle, they don't have enough energy to keep that up for very long. So I think he just cast it there, because they can't not cast anything. So this guy seems to have some mutation that didn't quite work out. But that's okay, because then he's probably just not going to move on. But you can see, pretty much, right away, in terms of AI training, half an hour is not very long. They've learned not to use that ability anymore, because it will just get them killed. And so it's interesting to see how quickly such a small, or in this case a fairly drastic change, will just influence the training. Every now and then, I can't tell if the capture software I'm using is catching it. You'll see just a frame of black. That's just a resync. Everything's being resynced at that point, because we're using multiple different threads, kind of as an experimentation. And so when you see that black screen, it's just resyncing. You can see everything is changing. They took out all these little guys a lot faster, because that's the way they can get the most points, because if they try and go up against another guy, they're likely to get killed. They're just as likely to get killed as they are to kill anything. So you'll see they'll go after the little guys first, and then they'll, when there's no one else and they have to start moving towards the center, then they'll focus on each other. I don't have them coded, hard-coded, to avoid the purple. How it's working is they know where the center of the map is, and they know the distance from the purple to the center of the map. I don't tell them, do you have to avoid this? Over time, they just learn that if they die early on because of this purple haze, they don't get points, and so they don't move on. So what's the end goal with this? You might be asking. The end goal, we want to make a game that has better AI. We want the game to feel more populated than it is. Our goal with the game that we're working on is going to be able to run on a Raspberry Pi, so anyone can own their own server. We're going to set it up to basically fire and forget to run that server. And just a few friends probably can be on it at a time. We're aiming for about 10 concurrent players at maximum on a Raspberry Pi with 1 GB of memory. But we want that world to feel at least a little bit more alive. So there's going to be some more AI, some more machine learning in every aspect of that game, whether that be town building or RPG situations. Everything is going to feel a little bit more alive than just old-fashioned, nothing really happens that you can't predict. That is our end game here. So what you're seeing right now relates in almost no way to the final product, apart from this AI, like using abilities and choosing where to move. I still just love watching it. I have an alarm going off telling me I'm out of time, but I just really wanted to get this video out here. What you're looking at is not a very polished product, but we want to get something out, let people know we're working on something. We have a Patreon. I don't expect anyone to just sign up for it after this first video, but definitely hit like, hit subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content coming. We have some things we're working on. You might see this tech demo 1 or 2 more times. The game that we are working on is going to be a sci-fi setting, so swords and shields don't really apply as much to that, but the technology that we're using in this tech demo, how everything is being loaded, how everything's being used, multiple threads, is all going to carry over to that project. This is a throwaway prototype, for lack of a better term. So hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. At this point, this is mostly a side project, so it's going to be about a week away. If I get a lot of involvement on this video, we'll try and push out another video way before that week is up. We'll try and have another one by Monday. So please hit like, please hit subscribe, ring that bell if you want to see our content as soon as it comes out, and I will see you guys soon. So I apologize, I know my mic is terrible, but I'm out of time for recording. I also wanted to show you guys, this is a brand new load. These guys haven't been trained at all yet, and I wanted to leave a little bit of an outro. And so with that, I'll stop talking on my terrible sound setup, and I'll just let you guys watch and enjoy the music, courtesy of the Arcadium. I'll have a link for that down below.